Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boys at the 1973 podcast. And before we get going, I'm chirping the professor a little bit. He's ready. He's brains of the show. I want to ask him this lineup tonight for the podcast. Put your lineup together. Who's playing where, Tom? We got you in that. Where do you want everybody else? You got your starting five right here. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Seeing that I've played with four of you guys, I'm going to put you at center.
What, bro?
Wait. You got to announce it, Thomas.
Starting center. The captain himself. He's wearing the C right now. AC.
For basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one wing, I'm going to take Mr. Prime. I see he's got a Prime shirt on. I'm going to go with Mr. Branco.
That's a left wing lock or a right wing?
I'm going to do left because I'm giving you guys a bender on the other side. I'm going to go with Mr. Brad as the other winger because I want two guys that actually play defense for me in front of me. So
we're going to carry Brad. We got you, Brad. Me and the Phantom
got you. What is a winger? What are we talking about? What is a winger?
We put you on the board so you can have something to hold on to.
What board are we holding on to?
And my defensemen are going to be the Ally Afraidy and Zdeno Chara of Beer League Hockey. I'm going with Scotty and Ed.
Nice. I like it. I something tells me Brad be just getting as many penalty minutes as Ed for some reason.
Are we playing hockey? You're putting me on the ice for hockey?
Yeah, Brad, you run the wing. Yeah,
I need one of those things that the little kids use at the skating rink.
Milk crate. Get on milk crate.
There you go.
You just set yourself in front of the net and hope something bounces off you.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can
Brad,
do that.
we'll hook you up because I like to pass and the Phantom likes to shoot. So it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I like to receive, so we're good.
They both like to bank it off you into the net too. So
we'll bank it off them. We can do that too.
There you go.
All right, so fun start to the podcast. I just thought about that before with the numbers that we had tonight. So good call there, Professor. You dialed in already. Ed?
Yes.
Let's go. One watch. Everybody knows the rules. Movie of the week. Take it away.
All right. Hey there, podcast fans. Are you ready to show off your love for the 1973 podcast? We've got over 20 different designs of t-shirts and hoodies that capture the essence of classic stuff. Whether you're a fan of the show or just love that retro feel, we've got something for everyone. From bold prints to subtle notes to your favorite personalities, each piece is made with top-notch quality and that timeless style that you crave. Perfect for lounging at home to make it a statement out and about. And don't wait, our collection is flying off the shelves fast, and you can say, don't be cheap, buy a shirt. Visit us now at bonfire.com and grab your favorites before they're gone. And then check us out at the 1973 podcast t-shirt store on YouTube. Just click the link below.
So, great segue. It was Brad's pick for one watch. Everybody knows the rules. Plus, in the store, Brad has a new lid. Brad, let everybody know about the lid and your pick for the week.
Bro, this hat is sick. It's like, it says like 1973 podcast, but it's like Slayer script, right? So it's really cool. I like my hats a little more. I don't know. I went through a phase where I would curve the bills. Now I kind of don't. I just kind of like the way it looks. To each his own, though. What's that?
Work on it, Brad. It's your hat.
On it. Yeah. So I like it, man. It's comfortable, dude. It fits just like a New Era does. Probably a little bit better. So snapback, great hat. I picked Sisu. I don't know how to say it. We'll just stick with Sisu. So basically, it's an hour and a half runtime. So it's right in the golden window of what makes a great movie. It was like a love child of John Wick and Taken right after World War II. If they made like a World War II love child movie, because same shit. They kill his horse and he goes on a rampage and just like kills a bunch of Nazis. And hilariously enough, at the end of the movie, my man's just wanted to make a bank deposit. He just wanted to drop off his gold and get it converted to cash. Badass movie. It was fun to watch. Kind of like just like a refresh or reset after getting into a bunch of heavy stuff and heavy movies for the last couple weeks. And I give it a solid 7. I liked it. It was fun. I want to watch the second one. And I hope they make a standalone film of the broads that he rescued. Those badass broads, they rolled up in the tank and they're like, where'd you get the tank? And they're like, Nazis. It's like, where are the Nazis? And they're like, dead. All of them? They're like, all of them. I think the broads need I call them that 'cause that's what they're referred to in the movies, the broads. The broads need their own standalone. I think that would be a great film.
Scotty, did you end up watching this week's pick?
I did, absolutely. Kind of put it on, and yeah, that's the first thing I thought right off the bat with them shooting at the dog. I'm like, oh, this is John Wick before John Wick. I appreciate that they did virtually no backstory. We have no real idea why this guy is in the middle of a wasteland, just happens to find this big treasure trove of gold, which, by the way, didn't look like gold at all. Like that was
No, that should look fake as hell.
It was like they went to Home Depot and got like a pan of essentially spray paint. Great action. I like the action. Pretty cool gore. Like it left me thinking, how are they going to? Many times, how are they going to get him out of this? Basically, they've got all these tanks, all these guys with guns, and he's there. There's not a tree in sight. And how does he get away? And he throws landmines. Like he ends up throwing landmines and gets away with it. All of that stuff. What the other thing I was thinking about is there's that point where after they hang him for like a day, somehow not dead, and I see how he like kind of like impales himself to kind of offset some of the weight. He's there trying to heal himself, and apparently, and I went looking at my wife at the time, go, he's pouring gasoline on him. Like, is gasoline like an antiseptic? Like, does that actually work? I don't know. Got to Google that. But you see that it looked like he had an autopsy. Like he had all those scars right down the chest, all of that sort. But hey, we know nothing about the guy other than he's just some weird guy who's a gold miner. And there's some brief conversation about they tried to kill him, but he refused to die before. So honestly, it was an enjoyable watch. Watched all through. Appreciate it. I give it a 6.8. I like no story, a lot of violence. I liked when they're running over people in tanks to see them get crushed.
Bro, that was wild.
Yeah, it was light, and I mean all the violence. You call
the dudes on the motorcycles are like, "Is that our boy?" And they're like,
"Is that buddy?"
They just kept going.
Yeah. Is that Branko? Like,
yeah.
Ed,
yes.
What do you got?
I thought it was a very entertaining movie for sure. It felt a lot of John. It felt very much like John Wick. Kind of gave me that feeling of watching some Pulp Fiction type stuff with, almost like that you get the backstory after the fact. I kind of felt like it was like, Planes Drifter with Clint Eastwood kind of had that kind of vibe to it, I thought that, I thought that the ending was stupid with the bomb. I thought that was completely dumb. Really, the dude beats him over the head like about 15 times with the static line beaner and beat the hell out of him. And then he hooks him into the bomb, and basically the dude swears him as kind of like a Hans Gruber thing at the end of like Die Hard. I thought, it was good. Some of the things were okay. That's a little bit ridiculous. The dude that's a sniper, gets up there and puts down about 500 rounds down range on him and just wings him in the knee, and after he takes some dude out like from thousands of yards away. So kind of just not realistic. Whatever. It was entertaining. 90 minutes. I wouldn't say I'd watch it again. But it was entertaining, a lot of the historical accuracies of weapons and stuff like that, other than people getting run over by tanks, was pretty accurate. I'm going to give it the old Yarger of 6.8 as well, as Scotty did.
All right, I'll jump in here. Here's a movie that I enjoy more than John Wick, because I do not enjoy Keanu Reeves in that role of John Wick. Bruce Willis, yes. Somebody tougher, yes. But this is my take on this movie. If you are a grindhouse movie fan, which means drive-in quality, not the highest budget, this is a throwback movie to that kind of stuff. You're getting the 90 minutes You're getting exactly what's advertised. You're getting maybe it's like Brad was saying, a little sprinkle of TNA, which gives you like, are they going to do like an offshoot of this? A lot of really good homage to 70s grindhouse style movies, exploitation stuff. His backstory is he had fought during the war and now he's on his farm, and his farm, he finds the gold. And then when he starts running into the Germans, the backstory starts coming out a little bit more and more. It's almost leaves a little bit to the imagination for that kind of style of stuff. Ed did mention sprinkle of Clint Eastwood in there. It does have it, but more towards the exploitation stuff from the 70s, the Tarantino stuff, the homage to that style of movie. So I really enjoyed this with a one more. I had watched it before, rewatched it. I felt the same way. Nothing changed with my opinion of watching it for the podcast. So I'm going to set a precedence with this one. We have the 1973 podcast score of 7.3 for this movie. And Ed, you're going to have to, if we ever do the sequel, you got to get involved, because the second one is when I say way over the top. Do you like to see a tank flip? It can happen when you're driving it at 5 miles an hour. It will happen.
I gotta watch the second one.
Okay. Probably 90 minutes.
It is.
So if you want to see a tank flip over like a border from Czechoslovakia to Finland or however they do it, be prepared.
Okay.
Suspend your disbelief, young Jedi.
Okay. All right. So we're taking out a lot of the realism. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah. So you flip the tank over with the gun from the tank to blast it over it. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Professor, voice of reason. Let's go.
It was actually a little better than I thought it was going to be, but I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it. I'm just glad there weren't any subtitles, because that's what I was kind of expecting going into this thing. But
there were no words.
You got to give it. You like tanks. You like tanks, so
yes, I do.
You got to get a couple extra points for the tanks.
It was a pretty violent movie, but like you guys said, there's no backstory, so I can smell prequel coming with this thing at some point. As long as they can make some money, they'll bleed as much money as they can out of it. There is a lot of John Wick. He's another what is it? Boba Yager or whatever they called him, and I think it's like you can't kill the guy. I mean, like Brad said, you had him hanging for about a day, and but I can't say much more than what you guys already said, so I'm gonna go right to my score. I'm going with a 6.9.
Nice.
69.
I knew somebody was gonna jump on that one, Tom. It's low-hanging fruit. Leave it to Brad. Attaboy, Brad. Kid show, Brad. Kid show.
Right, that's how much UFOs are. 69, remember?
Yeah, 69.
UFO is 69.
Phantom, you're going to clean up this segment of the show with your score, your take on the movie, and your pick for homework.
I gotta say, I like this movie. This is a guy's movie. Definitely not quotable. As Scotty said, you could watch this one with the volume off, but for overwhelming violence, like I said, guy's movie. I'm not watching it. It's not Saving Private Ryan. I'm not trying to get a tear going. Just want to see some shit get blown up, some people killed. So for me, it hit all the sweet spots of what I was looking for, and you get a little bit of Finnish lore. I'm thinking that Shih Tzu means John Rambo in in Finland. So I was leaning more towards Rambo than Wick, but
Shih Tzu means hard to kill.
It definitely does. It definitely does. And as Andy alluded to, the second one gets even better.
Gotta watch it. I'm gonna watch it this week.
A little bit more personal, a little bit more backstory, a little bit more revenge. So I'm not picking it, but I'm coming in at a 7.1 for a good time and some quality violence.
So this segment can also be called "Movies for Guys Who Like Movies."
This was definitely
TV.
This was definitely a guy's flick.
So
Yeah.
we did forget one piece that I've never seen in any other movie. He's underwater, slits the throat of the guy, and
That part was
breathes the
badass.
oxygen out of his lungs. I was
Two times.
I was shocked by that one. That if that doesn't sell you to see that movie, I don't know what will.
And
Honestly, the opening scene when he spun around and shoved that combat knife to that dude's head, I was like, oh, I'm in for a ride.
I mean,
Let's go.
Scotty, unlike Ed at the pool underwater, he kept his pants on.
this is the 1973 podcast. I figured we'd get more excited for an old guy kicking some ass.
Right?
This was not a man in his prime.
No.
He's been through some stuff.
It's like they told him at the beginning of the movie, Ryan, he could only have 2 slices of pizza.
Definitely worth going on a spree.
So wait, before we get your pick for next week, Thomas, what is the score of the movie?
Straight 7.
Straight gangsta 7.
Right, Sebs.
That might be the first time we've had an even score so far on it. So Brad, what do you think? I compare it. How do we do comparable?
It's a 6.9 on DV. I'm not even making that shit up.
Come on, dude. Let's go. That's awesome. We're right in there. We're right in there. So, Brankowitz, we're in suspense. One watch, everybody knows the rules. Homework is
The Prestige.
The Prestige. Okay.
I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Never even heard of it.
Somebody told me to watch it, and I need you guys to check it out.
Okay. All right.
Who's in that? Is that
Hugh Jackman.
That's who?
Oh,
Yep.
2006. The Prestige. Christian Bale, right?
Yep.
You are correct, sir.
Is this the one where they're magicians or some shit?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's a good movie. Good pick.
Okay. All right. So, one watch homework is The Prestige. So, let's get into it. Not a lot going on with the wrestling, Brad. What do you think?
We had a pretty big moment on Friday night. So Randy Orton's been on the phone talking to somebody who's been gassing him up to turn heel and take his moment and this and that. And they revealed that Friday Night SmackDown was going to be the reveal. Like, we're going to find out who it is. And have you seen it, Andy? Like, do we know? Like, it was Pat McAfee, of all people.
Wah.
Bro, he kicked Cody in the nuts. Also, in the last 2 years, Cody's been kicked in the nuts by Cena, Randy, and now Pat McAfee. It was like their go-to move. But total letdown. I mean, I think the crowd was let down. Everybody was booing and shit. He went straight to online reactions. Everybody was booing it. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, the part I liked is Pat McAfee came out and basically just it was a shoot. Like, he just started saying all the shit that we've been saying and that all the fans have been saying. Like, this new era sucks. Where's the attitude? Where's the violence? It's just like happy-go-lucky family TV programming that nobody can afford. And he called him out for it, which once you find out that the CEO of TKO is the one that pushed for McAfee to be the guy, because supposedly they think McAfee can be the next Sylvester Stallone of wrestling. I'm not even sure what the fuck that means. You know what I mean? But that's what they're saying. But once you find out that TKO is the one that brought him in, like, this makes no sense at all. Like, how are you going to bring the guy in and let him shoot on the company and complain about the product, but you're the one that brought him in and you think he can, like, save the company? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But then by the end of the episode, I guess they had, like, some time to kill or something. So they sent Cody out to, like, talk shit on the mic for, a couple minutes. And then Cody really went in. It was unscripted. And he really went in on it. And it was like, yo, you're just like Logan Paul, except you don't have the physique. And, he really hammered him, which I thought that was great. But I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it being Pat McAfee. When you had so many other people that could have been, that would have made the story even better. I did read it was heavily rumored it was supposed to be Vince, but then all this new Janelle Grant shit came out and they had to, like, pivot. But also the new Janelle Grant shit, Brock Lesnar was a dirty boy. Like, sending, it just said pics of his genitalia to her on multiple occasions. Like, he is not innocent at all. But again, and I've said this before, I don't think they did anything illegal per se, immoral and unethical. Yes. Did they break some rules, some corporate CEO rules? 100%. Um, but anyway, yeah, the road to WrestleMania is not, it's not looking that fun. Like the best match I think going is Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, who've had like zero TV time. And the feud doesn't even make sense. Who the fuck attacked Jey Uso like a month ago? Never been discussed. Who attacked Jacob Fatu? Never been discussed or addressed. Somebody just backstage attacking people, and there's all these like story hole openings that haven't been explained. And don't even get me started on The Rock coming out at Bad Blood and holding up three fingers and that shit never being explained. So like, I almost want The Rock to come out and explain some shit because none of it makes sense. Like the stories don't make sense. Nothing makes sense. Now Gunther's a part of the vision. That doesn't make sense. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Maybe they're
Ed,
gonna
Ed wants to be acknowledged right now.
maybe they want to, maybe they're going to do a dream sequence.
I don't know. There's like a 7-person ladder match for the Intercontinental title too, which I think that might be fun.
Thomas, you have anything to add for any of the wrestling stuff?
Ticket sales still aren't going very well for either of the WrestleMania nights. They're still after all of the sales that they've tried doing, and they've even started comping some tickets. They're still under, I think, 40,000 for both either night, I guess. So ticket sales aren't doing that great, even after they named John Cena as the host of WrestleMania.
So just staying with the trying to bring everybody into the wrestling segment, I did a little bit of fun WrestleMania kind of what ifs here. So I did a list from the first WrestleMania till when WCW was bought. I made it the 2 champions from each. If they were in the main event at WrestleMania, what it would be. And you guys can kind of, Ed, you'll like this too because you can chime in. So WrestleMania 1, 1985, Flair versus Hogan. The first time ever. Would have been an epic WrestleMania. WrestleMania 2, Flair versus Hogan again for WrestleMania 2. So you could have booked it with a steel cage stipulation or something else. Whoever lost could win that one. WrestleMania 3, Flair versus Hogan again for the rubber match. Yeah. And the Sky Dome, Hogan would have got the win probably. Flair could have won at WrestleMania 2 at Chicago or one of those odd places that they had that closed circuit, three different locations. So WrestleMania 4, you have Ric Flair versus Randy Savage. What do you think? First time on a big pay-per-view scale from Trump Plaza. Not too bad. You're going to see that Flair is the GOAT after you listen to this list. So Flair Savage would have been totally different. Savage was in the babyface stage of his career. I think it would have been magic. That he probably would have got a better technical match than the Hogan Flair run. All right, so WrestleMania 5. This is another good one. Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat as the WCW champion, Savage as the WWF champion. Back again at Trump Plaza would have been pretty awesome. I think that one would have been probably another classic. WrestleMania 6, Sky Dome in Toronto. What was the Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan is now Hulk Hogan again versus Ric Flair in Toronto. So book that. I don't know how you would book that one after they're a little older. I think big stage in Canada maybe would have been a little different. This is the one that I want to hear some thoughts on. WrestleMania 7. Ric Flair versus the turncoat Sergeant Slaughter. Thoughts on that? Thomas, what do you think about that one?
I think it would have been a horrible match. I just don't think there'd be any chemistry between them two. Slaughter was more psychology than anything else. I just think it'd have to be a pretty quick match.
Now, do you have the Ric Flair's the red, white, and blue All American nature, or what are you doing with that one, Branko?
Gotta be.
Mm.
Gotta be.
Ed, want to chime in with your boy Ric Flair on that one?
I'm going to have to say that I always thought Slaughter was always really stiff, and I don't think it would have worked because Flair always was kind of like that counter puncher, and he always, for some of his matches, I mean, 60-minute match, and you get the shit kicked out of him for 59 minutes of it till he cheap shotted him or whatever. So I would say I'd like to see him come in with the big blue, with the big puffy boa and everything like that, with the light blue tights, with the big high light blue boots with the R and F on them. I think that would have been great.
But as a babyface though, probably for like the first time.
Yeah, but it would have been fun if he still kind of played the heel kind of, because he's better as a heel. Yeah.
So this is where it gets a little interesting. Ric Flair now the WWF champion for WrestleMania 8 versus a young Sting as the WCW champion on a big stage. What do you think?
No, that's prime Sting right there.
Good match. Flair back as a heel, right? Against young babyface Stinger.
That's funny so far. We've actually seen all these matches. Haven't really hit a dream match yet, other than maybe the Slaughter and Flair.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, at some point they probably fought.
I just think it's the culmination, like the main event of main events, just for the year.
Like true Clash of the Champions.
True Super Bowl of wrestling, pretty much. So WrestleMania 9, this is an interesting one. Bret the Hitman Hart versus not Yokozuna, but Vader. What do you think of that? And don't forget, the end of that one is where Hogan comes in and wins the title back with the black eye at Caesar's Palace. What do you think? If same scenario happens, but it's Vader instead of Yokozuna. What do you think, Thomas?
Well, it'd have to be because Vader didn't sell for anyone. So I don't know if they'd be able to get along because you know how Bret Hart is. That Bret Hart wouldn't want to. That'd be too much of a headache, I think.
So WrestleMania 10, Flair's back in WCW with the belt against Yokozuna. I want thoughts on that one. Flair versus Yokozuna. What do you think, Ed? Stinker?
Oh my God!
I think Slick Rick's doing the job.
Oh my God! That's the world's biggest clothespin for that match. Yeah, man, stinker and a half.
Well, it's total what ifs. It's a total WrestleMania what if. I think with our clips on the wrestling deep dives have been pretty good to us. So I thought this would be a good one going into WrestleMania season. So
I have a statement to make. You know what would be really cool? You actually could do these matches on one of the WWE like PlayStation 5 games or whatever and actually see what they look like. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, with like an AI mod, just let it go and see what you get.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun.
The thing that'd be funny is that you're throwing Flair in all these matches, and he always was like an NWA guy, where it was like more normal sized guys, where WWE was more of Land of the Giants. So now you're throwing him in there with all these big boys. That's gonna be a full 20 minutes of him getting his ass kicked, and then somehow, some way winning in the end, probably.
Yeah, a lot of foot on the ropes, a lot of pony show at the end. Especially like those early like 3 matches against Hogan. If you looked at it like, epic stuff at the time. WrestleMania 11, now Hogan in the red and yellow in WCW as the champion versus, are you ready? Diesel. Now, the great storyline that could come out of this is a year later, it's the NWO turn. But a year before that, you have Kevin Nash's Diesel as the WWF champion. And Hogan as a brand new WCW world champion. Great. I mean, if you were doing a long-term storyline, that's great leading into what a year later the landscape of wrestling is.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Well, Hogan ain't doing the job to that guy. That's a
Especially back then
right.
at that time.
So this one has really good possibilities for a WrestleMania main event. WrestleMania 12, which is not known for being one of their better WrestleManias. Bret Hart versus Ric Flair. You know what you're gonna get. Bret Hart in his prime, Flair a little bit on the downside, but I think you could still get a really good match out of that for a main event.
Would it go 60 minutes though?
Oh yeah. Well, that was the Iron Man match, if you remember. That was the one in Anaheim that Shawn Michaels came down on the the zip line and all that stuff, and it was a 60-minute Iron Man match where they had to have the extra 5 minutes and Shawn Michaels beat him. Just imagine that same Iron Man match with Flair and Bret Hart. I think that would have been probably a wrestling classic for the time.
Do you get JJ instead of Jose Lothario?
I think so. No, they would have thrown in typical fashion. They would have thrown him with somebody that didn't even belong with him, like Kevin Sullivan or some kind of stupid shit like that. All right, this is an interesting one. So you have the newly turned Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus Sid Vicious in the WWF. Hogan ain't losing as Hollywood, and Sid's getting the NWO spray painted on his back. That's just
when the thing that's funny is when Sid went to WWF, he was the Hulk Hogan almost like replacement as Hogan was working his way out.
Yep. WrestleMania 14. This is one that's very interesting when you say dream matches that never happened. Prime asshole HBK Shawn Michaels versus Crow Sting. Now, Sting has a problem with factions at this time. Shawn Michaels is in DX. The story writes itself. I think that's you got to admit that's a top quality match right there for the time. That's a pay-per-view needle mover right there.
That's a super kicking.
What do you think, Thomas? Do you disagree?
Oh, it's not going to be a clean pin. It's not going to be a clean pin. Sting's not going to do a clean job. Not then anyway.
Who's booking these shows? Turner or Vince?
Oh, Vince is booking.
Are they taking turns? Or?
No, I said WrestleMania main event, so you know who's doing the booking on that, right?
So you know who's going over in all these matches, right?
All right, so WrestleMania 15. Just think of the promos leading up to it. The Rock versus Ric Flair. Decent old Ric Flair.
Ric Flair in 11 of these.
Yeah, the GOAT. It has to be.
He was 60 at this time.
WrestleMania 15, they wouldn't have him anymore. Everybody would be like, fuck this guy.
The next one's kind of a stinker, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Second to the last WrestleMania with WCW in play, WrestleMania 2000, Triple H versus I just broke my leg, Sid.
Yeah, that's an ugly one.
It's the son-in-law's going over.
In the very last WrestleMania with WCW as a company, in one corner you have The Rock, and the other you have the five-time WCW champion. All hail King Booker.
Booker.
So even though you got that match not too long after this, I think it was at a SummerSlam. What do you think about that for the final one?
I think
it's not happening. Vince is booking. That match isn't happening. He's not. He's a little racist, so it's not.
I was gonna say, I think these WrestleManias need some DEI because this is some Southern fried WrestleManias going on over here.
Oh man.
So we'll have to do this again when maybe SummerSlam comes around on one of the big ones. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. So by my list, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of the 17 WrestleManias, Ric Flair was the WCW champion. The GOAT, the greatest of all time, the Nature Boy. But just thought it was fun for playing a little fantasy what ifs for going into WrestleMania. So, Thomas, enough WrestleMania and wrestling talk.
I got one more wrestling thing. You could put the Jericho to WWE thing to rest because he showed up on AEW the other night.
Oh yeah,
so.
he did.
Yeah.
Yep. No Jericho, no Edge. They both went back to AEW.
Yep.
The Canadians. Yep.
This guy's
Brad
smart.
disappointed.
Disappointed. Yes.
I'm-
It just would have been fun to interject like something into this WrestleMania season.
Brad, I don't know why you're complaining. You replaced Edge and Jericho with Danhausen. What more can I ask for?
Hey, he's fun.
He's fun, bro.
You gotta
He's
say
fun.
he's fun.
And
He's
he's going
cursing
into
the
Hall of Fame.
refs.
He wa-
He cursed the ref and cost a match for the tag team championships
Hey.
for the Miz. It was hilarious.
Listen,
He's no Pat McAfee, but he's okay.
Yeah, I like him more than I like Pat McAfee.
I
I
gotta-
like Pat McAfee.
I like him as an announcer.
Does
But
that
go
like-
your role, jabroni.
Tom, you like
and get
Pat
out.
McAfee?
No,
No, like
He's
not
a
even like
hard
as
no.
like not even like as
I didn't even like him as a punter in football. He sucked.
He's an announcer. Know your role, jabroni. Get out of the ring.
The thing that kills me with him is he does the thing with Randy Orton, kicks Cody in the nuts. He's an NFL punter. Why didn't they do the kick to the head
I don't
to
know.
Cody? With,
They could have
with
punted
the-
him. Yeah,
do the punt on him.
right.
yeah. Let's do a 1v1 Jelly Roll versus McAfee. Let's do that.
I'd rather see Pat McAfee over Jelly Roll any day.
I don't want to
Let's
see
get
Jelly
I Show
Roll at
Speed
all.
in there. Put in
Ow.
I Show Speed versus McAfee.
Listen, Jelly Roll looks like a crack version of Sir Oliver Humperdinck, and he wasn't even in good shape. That they should make that guy a total manager. He's got a captain. He can be when he's a good guy, he can be Captain Lou. When he's a bad guy, he can be Humperdinck. One of the story writes itself. I just booked the territory. Let me book the territory. That's going to be my new stand on this. Let me book it.
Book it. There's too many celebrities getting involved. And you know TKO is pulling them in to try to boost sales. That's got to be what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you're flying to Vegas and spending $4,000 to see Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Well,
Bro,
the
I used to be pissed that they stole WrestleMania from me from New Orleans. Now I was telling Lucas and Jesse, I was like, dude, I'm glad because I'd be pissed if I bought tickets and we were going to this and this is the product we were getting. I'd be fucking pissed.
It's funny when it comes to like WrestleMania season. You go back 3 years ago when they wanted Cody to do the story, and then it was like The Rock came in. They were going to do Rock versus Roman, like they had been talking about all that time. And then it was like they kind of screwed it up, like they kind of had him win the Rumble, and then it was like, oh, we're not going to try to put him in the main event. We're going to pull some BS, and then they had to change their plans in the last minute. And then they did the stuff last, like I mean, it was a little bit before WrestleMania, but it was like with The Rock, and that kind of got all screwed up. And it's like now it's like this time of year again, and it's like Stephanie McMahon comes out, so I'm already like, it kind of looks like it's setting it up for Vince, or it could have been like Triple H is getting so much heat that I could kind of maybe they'll run with it and just like have him be the one that's behind and like let him kind of manage Randy Orton as if to be like us old school. They're forcing me to use all these new guys. Let me I want to use my guys kind of thing, which they can still kind of do it, but yeah, they're all over the map. But I like Pat McAfee. Just want to go on the record
as an announcer.
Whatever he does, I think
Not
it's
in
funny.
the ring.
Pat McAfee, much like Sisu, that's a guy's guy.
I don't know. He's a bit of a.
But the question is, does he use an umbrella?
Is he what?
Does he use an umbrella?
Fuck
McAfee does
not
use
not an umbrella guy. He did fucking tuck in his t-shirt though, which is another one of I see somebody walk by to get a t-shirt and it's tucked in their pants. I mean, he had the belt buckle trying to show it off a little bit.
The belt buckle.
Yeah, but he could have done the dusty tuck where you just kind of hit it in the front and let the back breathe. Can't be tucking in the t-shirts, man. Get that?
Is Scotty an umbrella guy?
Spin an umbrella with a freaking shirt tucked in?
Scotty wasn't here for the umbrella talk. Is Scotty? He's a modern day guy. Does
Scotty
umbrella, pro or con?
Downpour raining. I'm like, all right, you got a different kind of job than I do. If I'm going to a funeral and I'm in a suit and I'm all decked out, I don't want to get the hair get fucked up. Then the umbrella, there's a need. I'm just talking about a regular day. It's raining. You're putting a hood on like a man, or you're popping out the penguin.
You see this beautiful
Oh
hair?
my God.
I'm the only one who's not wearing a hat for a reason, boys. No.
You are
The funny
correct.
thing is, I've bought
I
more
got that
umbrellas
Gunther hair
than
going
I've
on.
actually used. I every once in a while, it's the only time if it's crazy downpour and I've got to go somewhere, I'll pop one on. But yeah, if it's raining, no, I'll just run to the car.
Yeah, if you run
Now-
fast enough, you don't even get wet.
Now the question is, do you fucking got one of these?
Oh, buddy, what the heck?
Because
Does
the
that
Phantom.
Does that
Now
plug
hold
in?
on, hold on.
Does that
Phantom,
thing
is that
vibrate?
really an umbrella?
What is that for,
Now-
dude?
On April 2nd, it was somebody's birthday. Wasn't mine, 52, but somebody on this podcast, 53 on that day. Happy birthday, Andrew.
Andrew, you know with the Andrew.
I'm sitting in my recliner, looking out the window. I see the Amazon truck come rolling up. I'm like, I didn't order anything from Amazon. Must be for the wife for the kid.
Or me?
I go out. It was fucking cloudy too. I got a farmer's porch. Don't got to worry about getting wet. So I kind of come out, take a little peek. I grab it. It says it's addressed to the Phantom. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I open it up. I'm looking inside. I thought it was a flag. I'm like, somebody buy me a rainbow flag? So there was a note. I don't usually get too many ad reads, but I have a Voc Tech education. So get ready, fellas. A gift for you. Real men use umbrellas, Phantom, from the 1973 podcast. So the next time it fucking rains, I am ready for the world.
Bro, you gotta use it. Take a picture so we can post it up on like the podcast Facebook or something, dude.
I love how your background's blurring it out, so we don't really know what you're.
You got the
use
idea. I know
That's funny.
it's 2026, but I'm not that modern of a man.
You may be already switching around, Branko. You already last week you would never use an umbrella. Now you'd use an umbrella at a funeral. So you're starting to come around a little bit.
Am
I
I
think.
coming
Take
around?
that umbrella to
After
a
somebody
funeral,
bought me
bro.
this, somebody might have a funeral.
Take that umbrella.
That
Hey,
is
Ryan, we accept you. Ryan, we accept you for whatever you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
that is not an umbrella. That is a parasol. You fuck.
That's right.
Oh, bro, I'm crying. Fucking cry.
I will say it was Andy's birthday, but somebody made my day because I had a good laugh. So.
Bro, Andy sent me a hat on his birthday. And I want to say last birthday, Andy sent me something from the podcast too, a t-shirt or book or something. Andy's always sending gifts on his birthday. That's the type of guy he is.
That's why I am your captain.
You are the captain.
Head of the
You are the
table.
captain.
I think I got re-gifted, but that's okay.
That's a quick regift. Let me just say that.
That do you know what that is? That's gonna go in the arm of my son's door of his car for peekaboo.
Put that shit in your golf bag or something, bro. That'll come in handy.
Actually, I'm gonna bring that shit to work and pop that thing open and let the rainbow fly. Funny as
Bro,
shit.
take a picture so we can put it on the podcast Facebook or something, man. You holding that umbrella at work.
I'm gonna be fucking butt ass. I'm gonna be butt ass naked like your zombie movies.
Bring it down to Provincetown. You'll be very happy.
So, is there a new T-shirt? Less dog, more umbrella.
Yeah.
More umbrellas. It's raining men apparently.
Oh my god.
All right, Thomas. Speaking of rain and men, let's go.
All right. 1973 podcast is brought to you by Elite Hockey Company. At Elite Hockey, it's all about the game. Whether you're a seasoned pro, a weekend warrior, or lacing up for the very first time, they've got you covered. From top-tier gear and custom equipment to apparel, live event experiences, and full team support, Elite Hockey is built by hockey players for hockey players. It's not just a brand, it's a community, a place where players of every level can stay sharp, play hard, and live hockey. So if you want to elevate your game, support a company that supports the hockey world, and join a movement that's growing fast, check out elitehockey.com today and tell them the crew from the 1973 podcast sent you.
All right, Thomas, this is your segment. Fire away.
All right, well, last week I did the my picks for AL and NL Cy Young. This week I'm going to go with AL and NL MVP, but I'm going to go with my sleeper picks. That's too easy to pick, Shohei and judge. So my AL sleeper is going to be Yordan Alvarez with Houston. I think if he can stay healthy, he's played 7 years in the league, 4 years that he's actually played the whole season. He's averaged 35 home runs. I think he's just going to have a big year, and they could surprise. They're playing pretty well right now. They're actually surprising me a little bit. NL, it's going to be Shohei, but I'm going to go with my sleeper. So I'm going with a fully healthy Ronald Acuna Jr. I just think when he's healthy and he's got his head on straight, the dude is a baller. So that's my pick.
Tom, before we get into some sports stuff, can I tell my 2 stories from today about the podcast?
Go right ahead.
All right. So run into Bobby Carpenter, friend of the show, Bobby Carpenter. Had a fun conversation with him. He was one of the guys that I thought was pretty cool. Wished me a happy birthday on Facebook. It's pretty cool when you get a pseudo celebrity wishing you a happy birthday. I get a kick out of that stuff. So we were talking, and he goes, "You know what's funny?" He goes, "I'm trying to think of where I was, and somebody was talking about your podcast, and I'm like, oh yeah." Now you brought me in, and I'm like, "Where were you?" He goes, "Oh, I'm not sure if I was at like a Bruins thing or if I was at skiing. I went skiing with the family and we ran into people we knew and they were asking me about it. And they were saying like, those guys are funny." And I'm like, there we go. Those guys, I'll take those guys are funny. So I guess the way you look at it is it's little bits at a time that kind of like, whatever we get together for just staying close or whatever. It's things like that kind of like, I mean, what kind of birthday gift do you get at our age? When for me something like that is fun, and it's fun to tell the boys that you get recognized somewhere, or especially if it's in a group of people that you've had on the show or whatever. So that was, and I'm leaving. I'm walking out. So I'm by myself. All of a sudden, this car pulls up. Window goes down. Black guy, older, glasses on, says to me, "Excuse me, sir. Do you know where the autographs are?" I said, "All the way down the end." He goes, "I'm Dennis Boyd. Did you see any signs for me?" I said, "Oil Can Boyd." He goes, "Yep, that's me." I said, "Yep, I saw you right down the other way." Just found it funny that right time, right place. Here's this guy, says, "This guy looks like he knows what he's talking about." Damn sure right. I know where you're going, and I sent him on his way. Rhode Island plates. So Oil Can Boyd, possibly friend
There
of
was
the
a
show.
time. There was a time where somebody might argue that Oil Can Boyd was just as good as Roger Clemens.
Thomas, would you argue that?
For a year or two, yeah, he was good.
So Dennis Oil Can Boyd, you never know, friend of the show. Meeting people, doing the Lord's work, Brad. Spreading the love.
It is Passover.
This is also
Well,
true.
it was also funny that my friend sent me that screenshot of the podcast. She's over in England, and no clue that and she goes, "This must be your doppelganger," and I'm like, "That is me." I'm like, "That's me. That's the podcast."
We're international,
I share
y'all.
this thing all the time, but somehow she saw it over in northern England.
So
That's me talking about Ric Flair.
Yes. So Jess was on Facebook the other day, and an ad popped up on her Facebook of what's the company that does our t-shirts and stuff?
the Bonfire?
Bonfire. A Bonfire ad popped up, and guess what? The number one leading because you can scroll through all a bunch of different tiles and shit to look at different products. The very first one is a freaking baseball team, the 1973 podcast Misfits emblem. She was like, "Bro, isn't this your podcast?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, it is. What's it doing on your Facebook ads? Crazy." Buy a shirt though. She didn't.
Tell her, stop being cheap, buy a shirt.
Yeah, I told her, I
Hey.
said, "Don't be cheap, buy that shit."
Yep.
You might get it in a basket tomorrow.
Yep.
Right?
So, Scotty, just a little, I know you were distant from the podcast for a little bit. You will talk to the professor. I'll tell him to fill you in when we do the the RSS feed for the podcast, for the audio feed, he will tell you the international places where people have regularly listened to the podcast. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, it's like I haven't checked it in a while, but it's like India. We're really big over in different spots in Europe, like Scotland, a couple places in England. It is pretty kind of. I looked at it in Australia. We've got like 3 to 4 different places in Australia.
Shrimp on the body.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is like the modern age stuff with people
I just want to say this,
popping it on in the car.
The Sixers would love to take a free flight to Australia so we can go check out some saltwater crocodiles.
Nah, I have family out there. The things out there will kill you. Those things are fucking big.
I wanted to go play with one, Tom. I said I want to go see one.
I can see one from TV. I'm fine.
Yeah, from the comfort of my own couch.
Yeah, we should. One of these times we're gonna do the podcast on the road. We're gonna all be at like a. My daffy desire is to meet at like one of those conventions in Vegas and go to the see the podcast stuff and do one from there. That's one of the long-term goals. So we'll make that we'll make that happen eventually. But the only way it's going to happen, Brad, is when your wife comes across a T-shirt. Buy a fucking shirt, dude.
You gotta buy that shit, bro.
Stop getting free shit and buy some shit.
I told her, I was like, I got 6 podcast T-shirts, Jess. You don't have a single one. Why did you not get one?
If she's not going to support the fellas, at least support you.
Right?
Jeez, it's not like you're not an on-air personality.
Jesus.
He needs a zombie one for school, Brad.
I put it in my cart. I keep forgetting to get it though. I want the less dong more zombies tee.
Gotta get it.
I feel like I can only wear that on the podcast. Like, I'm not going to wear that shit to go grocery shopping.
Well,
I'm gonna get it when I use my umbrella.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, it might be a good conversation starter though, right?
Yep.
Like somebody be like,
only when it's sunny.
And all you need is to go to like a grocery store and put a pineapple upside down with your shirt in your umbrella and see what happens.
Yeah, roll the dice on that one.
I am 52 years old.
3.
And I've never, fuck you, 52 for me. Maybe you.
53.
I could die tomorrow and you'll beat me. You'll always be older. I've never gone grocery shopping in my whole life.
What?
Also,
not one time.
You are privileged.
He's got his pimp hand strong.
Zero.
Brad,
over a lifetime.
You see what happens when you hit the wife. See the magic that could happen.
Put some baby powder in it.
Tom, we're going off the rails with this sports talk.
Oh, this has gone off the rails. Rolled over like 3 times.
We're talking sports.
You know what this is? This is flipping a tank over the board.
To be honest, grocery shopping, say at Market Basket, that is a sport. So,
I don't think I can handle it.
That's where Tom meets everybody. Tom sees everybody at the grocery store.
You're not kidding. That's the last time I saw a friend of the podcast, Hav, was there. I was probably there third, like half hour talking to him.
I think you ran into my mother one time too there, Tom.
Yep.
Tell her buy a shirt. Stop being cheap.
Yeah, you don't know the Phantom until you've seen him out in public and see somebody that he knows that gives the. I don't know you.
Hence the name. It's like smoke bomb, boom.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all of a sudden you turn into Danhausen.
I'm out. I'm the next thing. I'm in the parking lot. Gone.
So, Ed, do you have anything to add this week for sports, or are we going to move on to some tinfoil?
No, let's move on to the tinfoil.
All right, Thomas. This segment went totally right out the window. Flush the toilet on this, and let's get a mint and tip the guy at the door. Let's go.
All righty. This week's tinfoil hat is brought to you by RC Custom Cards. Do you collect cards? Do you want something truly unique in your hands? RC Custom Cards turns ordinary cards into extraordinary, custom-designed trading cards created just for you. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, honoring a team or friend, or building a one-of-a-kind collection, RC Custom Cards crafts premium, personalized cards built to impress. Great quality, great design, and 100% custom. Made for collectors, fans, and anyone who wants something special. Are you ready to elevate your collection? Head to rccustomcards.com and see what you can create. Tell them you heard it on the 1973 podcast.
Bang. Do you collect cards? Do you like stuff in your hand?
Nope.
Let's go, Brad. Fuck off.
We just hit the uncomfortable silence moment of the podcast.
I didn't know.
Somebody fucking talk.
I didn't know this week's conspiracy theory was on funerals.
We need Shaggy. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah. Oh, bless Shaggy.
Ed misses all that when Shaggy's here and he's really wound up and he gets like, Ed, do it.
By wound up, you mean he's had 2 or 3 drinks. You're like screaming into the camera. I'm like,
what are you guys doing?
Yeah, bro, you can sit back. We can still hear you. You don't have to scream or get close to the camera. It changes nothing but our perspective. But anyway.
You do realize that's his tone of voice, right?
Yeah. Shaggy's a funny dude, man.
I'm waiting for
that's
Tom
from yelling
to
at
do
kids
it.
on the sideline.
Yeah.
In a house full of chainsaws.
So for the tinfoil hat, let's talk Blimps. I kind of got burnt out talking 9/11 and Epstein files and eating babies and shit. So I want to do something that's a little more lighthearted. But Blimps, man, like Blimps were a thing back in the day, like before the Great Reset. And it's funny that like the whole blimp thing disappeared the same time all these world fairs and like big great fires swept across the world. Blimps got kind of caught up in that and forgot about. They had one blimp disaster, the Hindenburg. One. And the thing about it was like half the people survived. like hydrogen burns like up and like out or whatever compared to like gasoline and wood fires that spreads like laterally and engulfs everything. And hydrogen fires burn out in 90 seconds. Like they don't continually just keep burning like a gasoline or wood fire does. So like it's very survivable compared to airplanes. So it's like, why do we get away from blimps? Coney Island literally had a blimp docking station. Like you can Google that shit. They had a blimp docking station. There's, reading like the history of it, they used to blimp like from New York to fucking South America on blimps, bro. It's no different than a cruise ship. It's just luxury airline, They would get struck by lightning and they would, nothing. It was fine. Like they could just keep blimping along. They would blimp from Europe to South America and all over the world. Blimps were everywhere. It was the mode of transportation. So it obviously there's a little bit of conspiracy of what happened to the Hindenburg. People said static electricity. Someone said it was lightning, but they 100% can survive lightning. So you kind of take that one off. Somebody said there was a gunshot that ignited this thing, that they hit a power line. There's a bunch of different stories, man. But basically, they had to crash the Hindenburg because it was such a historic flight because it was like from Europe to America. They had to crash it, and they had like all the news for the time was out, so they had like 4 different cameras on it. So it was highly publicized, highly viewed thing. They had to crash it to kind of launch the next wave of airplane travel. And we couldn't get there because blimps were so cheap and easy to build, and they were safe, and they could haul a lot of people. It was like Carnival Cruise, but in the air, essentially. And they, so they had to basically get rid of it somehow. So that's kind of like the conspiracy of it, that it was wrecked, that the Hindenburg was crashed on purpose to kind of make way for modern air travel as we know it. But blimps were like really popular back in the day. They said like there used to be boats out in the ocean that would like had blimp docks, so you could transfer from blimp to boat, and like cruise liner to blimp and so on. And they even like some of the high rises in the big cities of Chicago and New York City and whatever had like blimp docking stations. Now we just look at it as like, oh, that's just a relic of a lightning rod or something like that. But I don't know, it's pretty interesting, that like blimps now are just kind of gone except for the Goodyear blimp, that shows up. I don't even know if the Goodyear blimp still flies anymore. I haven't seen that shit in a long time.
It does.
Does it still fly?
Yeah, it flew at the Army Bowl this year.
And then I know like Homeland Security and Border Patrol, they have some blimps flying along the border for to spy on the illegal traffic into the US and stuff. But yeah, but not for like commercial travel. And it's like, why? It's super safe. Even if they crash, you have a very high survival rate. How many
Bradford.
people survive a plane crash? Like fucking almost none.
So there's a famous photo, if you can find it, of a blimp docking on the Empire State Building. That tower at the top of the Empire State Building was made for blimp docking.
See?
And what a lot of people they weren't called blimps or zeppelins back then. They were called airships.
Yep.
In the whole conspiracy theory of it was blimp. You would think that the whole round part of the blimp is the inflatable balloon. It's not. There was space to walk around, and they had restaurants in there. They had cabins to sleep in. They had all kinds of things inside what in your mind would be the modern day balloon part of it. It was all encased. It not just the little pilot area underneath it. It was, you could walk around, and like Brad said, like a modern day cruise ship in the air. You can look at the plans of what supposedly they were on the inside, and you see sleeping quarters, you see places to eat, you'll see all kinds of stuff, touristy type things where they could look out. So
The
it was,
Last Crusade shows you what they look like on the inside.
yeah. And why they went away, there's a lot of, especially those World's Fair photos where they were in that Sepatone type color, that the airship slash blimp slash Zeppelin were wiped out of the photos. Just like there's a lot of photos in history that have been wiped out with what was going on in the air because they didn't want that to screw up the narrative of what they were trying to project with history. So I think that's a great deep dive for somebody that's really into conspiracies, that's not into the morbid side of it. There is a whole history of conspiracies with airships. They, like Brad said, a lot of these high-rise buildings, when you look at the top of them, they were made. I think the Eiffel Tower was even one of the docking spots for an airship too, or they could dock multiple airships depending on the size of the structure that they were using. But also, Brad is correct with the boats in the water that they could dock airships on, and then they could just float off from there. That people could go down to, like, it transfer to a boat. So there's a whole lost part of history that I think that is kind of wiped away. And if you aren't aware of it, stuff like this is interesting to talk about. Did you ever hear any of that stuff, Ed?
I did know about the blimps, but I didn't realize how quick that they were ushered out of service.
Yeah, they were huge in World War One too, and nobody ever talks about that history of World War One. All they ever really want to talk about is how that was the first World War that they really used a lot of machinery in. So that would fall into that category, but they never talk about that. They talk more about the weapons technology, and more than the airships and the Zeppelins, and of course everybody's favorite photo of the Hindenburg is on the cover of Led Zeppelin 1. Tom, thoughts on the
Jimmy Page when he disappeared?
Yeah, true.
The guitar solo.
Thomas, you are the voice of reason. Thoughts on the whole airship conspiracy?
There is one not much of a conspiracy with this, but there's still one blimp that lands and takes off at it. There's a small airport in Plymouth, Mass, and it takes off and lands there every once in a while. I haven't seen it, but my wife, when she lived in Plymouth, used to see it all the time.
Brad, now, if I'm correct, the modern day blimps aren't built like the old airships. It's more of an inflatable with a
gasket.
basket underneath them with the with the cockpit type style, but to be traveling inside of the what is now the balloon is not a thing anymore. They've changed the layout of it. Correct?
Yeah, now it's just kind of they either use helium or some other gas. They don't use hydrogen. And it's like even the Goodyear blimp is kind of just like the canopy with like some propellers on it, and they kind of like oversimplified what you can do with a blimp. It's not an airship. I think the Goodyear blimp probably has enough room for 2 or 3 people, and that thing is massive. They kind of downplay it to make it not a practical or feasible mode of transportation.
Now, if you had to use your tinfoil hat, why do you think that the airships went away?
Oh, because they had to make way for air travel in airplanes in the airplane industry.
You don't think it's the gas?
I think it's airplanes. I think they were. It's because the Hindenburg crashed in what 1930 something. So
Yep.
technology was starting to
37.
boom. And we're starting to get airplanes and different modes of air travel. And I think it was more of just like a we got to make way for the next phase of society, and is airplane travel. And like you said, man, like blimp travel or Zeppelin travel, airship travel got wiped from the history books, man. It's not even like you got to really Google that shit, man, to like go find it, man, because they didn't want us having anything nice that was practical or inexpensive. There was always some giant CEO or banker or somebody behind it. So
Well, how about like the travel time? Must have been brutal.
probably took a fucking year of Sundays to get somewhere in a blimp, but you were traveling in luxury, bro.
And on top of it, things move slower back then too. So
Yeah.
you had trains to go across country, shit like that. So that's another one, Brad. You could talk about one week is the whole train thing, how they transported these things of marble and hand carved stuff across the country, and they weren't even in the United States where they were getting these products to build certain things. That's a whole nother conspiracy theory too.
I saw a thing where like in Asia, like their rail system is like you can go anywhere without having a car. It's like so modern, and it's like when they compare it to ours is like just the original infrastructure that we built like back in the day when the buffaloes were roaming the prairies and stuff. compared to what they got going on.
We ripped
They're
up all
building
that
one here going
at the
from
late
Toronto to
70s.
Quebec. That's going to
Yeah.
do about like 230 miles an hour.
Wow.
So Brad, I was just thinking, Christy Nome should have probably got one of those because there would have been more room to screw around with her guy and not get in trouble, right? You could kind of done it inside the balloon. She would have never been caught at all.
Nobody would have seen the balloons inside of the balloon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Scotty, care to before we wrap up this tinfoil hat segment, care to give your take on it?
Were you asking me or?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think of it as, you guys just kind of hit on it and made me think and made me kind of look at who was president in 1937, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And now I'm just seeing what's happening right now. Like
It's a great reset.
Trump's going to Congress asking for $220 billion. Where's that money going?
The VA.
That money's going to kind of the weapons guys. Like this is a way for massive. Like we're literally shooting down. Maybe I don't even know how much a drone costs, but we're using a $50 million,
$30,000.
Yeah, $20,000 drone. We're using a $50 million rocket to shoot it down, right? So people are getting massively rich on this. So maybe that was a little bit there. You've got generally a say. Now, how many pictures do you have from 1937? Somehow we magically captured the Hindenburg blowing up. Like for whatever reasons, like you have nothing. We have only a couple like really crappy pictures of Babe Ruth. And so, but somehow we caught the Hindenburg blowing up mid blow up.
Well, you know what, too, Scott?
from 4
It's
different
not
angles.
just a picture; it's filmed. They have the whole
Yeah,
Film.
footage of it on film.
exactly. So
Yep.
I've never thought of the Hindenburg, Brad. So I love your segment because you always make me think of something differently. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, how the hell 37? We're almost 100 years from that point in
Oh,
time.
the reset.
We're 89 years ago.
Yeah.
We happened to capture it.
That whole Scott, that whole 1930s is an interesting time right before World War II, where a lot of things were made to disappear, and the whole history and medicine and the school system all were changed into the narrative of what we know now. Everything before that, there's nobody left around that could actually verify any of the stuff. So it's almost like every 100 years it resets itself because the people that would remember it are all gone. It's almost like it's almost like it's right out of a playbook. Like they don't let people live to an older age than what they probably could because of just the greed right from the top. And
If it worked, why not do it again?
right. So Brad, you want to wrap up the segment or what?
I said like 2 weeks last week or week before. I was like, I told you, Andy, I was like, I feel like we're about to get a great reset. Like it's gonna happen. We just had COVID. Now we're about to have this massive war, and in 50 to 100 years, they're gonna Mandela effect 9/11 and tell the truth that it was just a drone or a missile that hit the towers, and the people around that could debate it and say that it wasn't, that it was airplanes, we'll all be gone.
Yep.
They're gonna hit us with Mandela effect on that. I firmly believe that. After all that shit you sent me on Instagram about how they superimpose the pictures in real time, I'm like, dude, it's a great reset, dude. It's coming, and we're gonna forget all the bad stuff, and it's gonna be a new era. It's gonna get ushered in. It's the new era, the Netflix era for America.
And Ric Flair will be the champion again.
Yeah, he'll be like the president, like what's that? Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
Conspiracy theories for guys who like conspiracies.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up this Saturday night with the boys. Always fucking awesome to come on here and do a weekly data drop, a cache cleanse, a recycle drop, or whatever, however you want to put it. So Ed, you have the floor. You're the silent majority, space, the final frontier. Nobody's calling for the billboard. Let's go.
Well, first, I do have something to say. So for after almost
Ed,
40
could you
years,
get closer to the screen, please? Like Shaggy.
yes, I'll get close to the screen. Yeah. So after 40 years of knowing this guy, happy birthday.
Why are you pointing at Brad? Why are you, Brad? Happy birthday, Brad.
I mean, he's down over
You
there.
pointed at me, actually, but
He's down over there. Happy birthday.
Is it down here?
Yeah, down there. Can I get close enough?
Phantom, what do you got besides your parasol?
Yes, I'm going sailing. I'll send out the Easter cheer. Happy Easter to everybody, the fam. Happy birthday, Andrew. We love you.
Yeah, I am your captain. Scotty, fire away.
you should have said, "I'm the captain now," right?
How come I never get to be the fucking captain?
Back check.
Only captain I got to be was the Captain Morgan.
Exactly.
You got to back check more.
Put the seatbelt on it. Put the seatbelt on it, Ryan.
All right, yeah, I gave props to Andy for his birthday. I'm gonna throw it out to my friend Emma. Somehow you watched this north of England, like north of London. So if you made it to this far, which we'll find out, I'll buy dinner next time you're in town.
Wow, that's a good bet there, Scotty. You're good for it. You bought me dinner when I've been in town.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Bradford, what do you got?
I don't have any gripes or complaints this time. I do want to say happy birthday to the man, the myth, the legend, our captain, our Charlie Conway, You know who I'm talking about.
I so wish you would have said Reg Dunlop.
Hey, you know what? Wait,
You would have known him.
I will say from Brad, I will take it, and that's like a as close to a Hallmark card as I can get. Thank you, Brad.
Hey, Charlie was the captain of the Ducks, man, and there's no higher honor, dude. and if we're the Mighty Ducks of podcasting, then you're our Charlie Conway, bro.
Nice.
So happy
Flying
birthday.
D.
Thomas, what do you got?
Got a couple. First, shout out and congrats to the Buffalo Sabres for making the playoffs after 14 seasons. They had the second longest drought in North American of the four major sports. The Jets still number one. Their Jets are like 16 years, so they got to get on the ball now.
It's a New York thing.
My other shout out is to my sister and brother-in-law. They're in the Dominican right now. She said she was going to spread the word about the podcast out there to where they're staying. So who knows? Maybe next time I look at the feed that you're talking about, we'll have some numbers from the Dominican.
Yeah. Just I'll close the show with thanks for the birthday wishes from the people that that reached out and said thanks. I mean, it's what more can you ask for at this stage in the game? Is hanging out. Oh, Ed, want to get in? No.
No, 53.
Okay.
5-3.
No, just thanks to everybody that reached out. Thanks to the fellas for showing up every week. It's fun. Some weeks it's more work than others, but when the laughing and the parasol talk and the dongs and zombies, and we get these chirps that become like how can I put it, like part of the show. It's catchphrases. It's you got to be in the know to know. You got to watch the show to get it. So yeah, just keep rolling, showing up every weekend and doing what we do, and that's your 1973 podcast. Just remember, less dongs, more zombies. Always.
Speaking of zombies, Jesus came back from the dead. Happy Easter, everyone.
Yep.